The Los Angeles Clippers owner continues to make news for comments he made that denigrated former NBA superstar Magic Johnson and people of color in general. 2 weeks ago, Sterling was banned from the NBA for his racist comments, and now he's being forced to sell his team. Let's see what our panel has to say about that. Judge Alexander Ford, what's your take on this whole controversy, this whole NBA Clippers Donald Sterling mess?
Well, I must say that is one subject I have paid very little attention to. And I have because of the fact that there are so many other issues with which I am concerned, like the little girls in Nigeria and Boko Haram, who has, taken them from their homes and their schools. And like the Brown celebration and what it's supposed to stand for and why it's not. So I have not really given that the kind of consideration that others give it.
Well, it's caused a lot of controversy. This Donald Sterling, this man in his 80s, owns the Clippers, making very racist comments. Kevin, you've heard about this. What do you think?
I have heard about it, and I've paid some attention to it, more than the judge. I think it's unfortunate that he's in the position that he's in, but on another level, I'm glad that there's a public rebuke of the racist remarks that he's made. I think that he should be forced to sell his team since these racist comments have come out and they've been made public. And I think he deserves what he gets. I hope that this is a teachable moment for the NBA, but also the nation, just in terms of how we need to collectively, white, black, and athletes and non-athletes, respond to extraordinarily racist comments such as these.
What about the players themselves? Now, we know that the players were actually talking about
I think their actions,
not even playing.
I think their actions were extraordinary. It should make us
they were
all
demanding the most stern penalty possible. Otherwise, I think the players were not going to play, and the commissioner knew that.
It should make us all proud because, to a certain extent, we see these athletes as being selfish, self-concerned. They could have easily gone back on the court and got their millions and played, but they saw the larger issue here, and that is of systemic racism in the country, and they responded by threatening to protest. So I think that's amazing.
Okay, but forcing someone, I mean, this is America after all, forcing a person to sell their team, I mean, is that something, is that American? I mean, to force a person, I don't know, the NBA says he's kicked out of the league, they're gonna force him to sell his team. He says, so far, he says, I'm not doing it.
Well, I think the commissioner stated that it was in the Constitution, their Constitution. And I think if they go to court, we will see.
I think a larger issue that has not been paid enough attention to is the NAACP's complicitness in this whole issue in terms of them awarding the Donald Sterling a lifetime award.
Yeah, the Los Angeles NAACP, they were going to give him an award.
A lifetime achievement award, while they knew, that he had been charged around some racist actions in the past. I think their actions should come under more significant view than it has over the last month or so.
Didn't the president resign?
He did resign.
Didn't they make him resign?
Yes,
he did resign, but I think it speaks to a leadership issue when the organization would take money knowing that the awardee that they were planning to.
What about the other organizations?
Well, my understanding is that the United Negro College Fund has also given Donald Stern money without a very careful appreciation about how their constituents of these organizations would feel about giving a racist an award.
Two other quick things here. What about this was apparently supposed to be, at least Mr. Sterling thought it was supposed to be a private conversation. Even as bad and as racist as his comments were, does it bother anybody that saying something? We're in this age where you can say something and suddenly it's public, as racist as those comments were.
The one thing that bothers me, and that's from the perspective of being a judge, being a lawyer, is that someone tapes something, a private conversation that you have, and it goes public. She claims that she did not make it public. He's claiming she did. I don't know what the truth is, but you're not supposed to do that.
But the thing is, as the commissioner said, maybe it wasn't supposed to be public, but it's public now.
You're right. From a media perspective, you're right.
Now, one final thing. Now, this controversy we had right here in New England with the police commissioner up in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, calling the president of the United States the N-word. That's all of these things, happening right around the same time. It's been pointed out by some that what's more significant isn't necessarily what this man said or what Sterling said, but the outrage that it produced. Is that a sign of progress in our country?
It is. I think the N-word eventually needs to be buried. But to the extent that it is still being used, there should be public outcry. And here you have this small town, tourist town in New Hampshire, responding against their sheriff in such dramatic ways is a sign of progress. Now, we should never have any elected officials castigating the president in that sort of way. But to the degree to which there has been a universal response, at least from the citizens of New Hampshire, is a sign of progress. And we need to appreciate it.
Would you agree with that? The sign of progress? Okay, got you two to agree on one thing. Okay, we're going to have to leave. We're going to have to leave it right there. We've got some other good topics coming up. Judge Alexander Ford, thanks for coming in, and Kevin Peterson as well.